think the prince.
Today, we're diving into the powerful parallels between Princess Diana and Meghan Sussex. In her heart-rending Panorama interview, Princess Diana once said, "They see me as a threat of some kind, and I'm here to do good. I'm not a destructive person. I think every strong woman in history has had to walk down a similar path." These words echo through time to another woman who, like Diana, was seen as a threat to the establishment, Meghan Sussex. The parallels are striking and deeply unsettling. Diana, a woman of immense charm and philanthropy, was viewed with suspicion and fear. She was perceived as a threat, not because she was destructive, but because she was strong, independent, and unafraid to challenge the status quo. Her radiant personality and unwavering commitment to doing good were not enough to shield her from the cold, harsh winds of opposition. Fast forward to Meghan Sussex. A woman of intelligence, warmth, and purpose, she too faced the daunting challenge of being labelled a threat. She was not destructive, but her independence, her intellect, and her refusal to be overshadowed sparked fear in those who wished to maintain the status quo. The media and the establishment tried to silence her, to drown her voice under a flood of negative headlines, and to confine her behind the gilded cage of palace walls. But Meghan, learning from Diana's tragic fate, chose a different path. She chose freedom, she chose her family, and she chose a life away from the shadows cast by the palace. The stories of Diana and Meghan are tales of two strong, radiant women who were branded as threats. But while Diana's story ended in tragedy, Meghan's has become a story of survival, of resilience, and of a refusal to be silenced. Just like Diana, Meghan was never destructive. She came with purpose, with love, and with a mission to serve. And serve she does, not just as Harry's wife, but as a woman who carries Diana's flame, who refuses to be quashed by a system that once tried to silence Diana. The firm and the media painted Diana and Meghan as threats. This is a line that echoes the sentiments of countless royal enthusiasts across the globe. The media, with its insatiable thirst for sensationalism and scandal, has often played a pivotal role in shaping public perception of both these women. Consider Princess Diana, a young woman thrown into the royal spotlight at the tender age of 20. The tabloids were relentless, scrutinizing her every move, her every word, her every outfit. They painted her as a royal rebel, a woman who dared to break protocol and speak her mind. But what they failed to highlight was her unwavering commitment to charity, her compassion, and her willingness to use her platform for good. Fast forward to Meghan Sussex's entrance into the royal fold, and the media circus was even more ferocious. Headlines screamed of her supposed arrogance, of her strained relationships with other royals, and of her disregard for tradition. And yet, once again, her dedication to humanitarian work, her intelligence, and her eloquence were conveniently overlooked. In both instances, it's clear that the media sought to silence these women, to suppress their voices under a barrage of negative headlines. They attempted to confine them within the rigid box of royal protocol, stifling their individuality and their ambitions. The similarities in their experiences are striking, to say the least. Diana and Meghan, two women from different generations, both faced the same onslaught from the media. They both bore the brunt of relentless negative press, all because they dared to defy the status quo, to be more than just royal figureheads. And yet, through it all, they remained resilient. They refused to be silenced. They pushed back against the media's attempts to define them, and instead chose to define themselves. They tried to strip away her voice, bury her under headlines, and cage her behind palace walls. But Diana and Meghan, in their own ways, fought back. They stood their ground, and in doing so they left an indelible mark on the royal narrative. Their stories serve as powerful reminders of the strength and resilience of women, even in the face of adversity. Unlike Diana, Meghan was given the chance to escape, and escape she did. The decision to leave the United Kingdom and start afresh in America was not one taken lightly. It was a choice born out of necessity, a choice to protect her family, her sanity, and her sense of self. Imagine being in Meghan's shoes for a moment. You've married into a family that is not just a family, but an institution, a centuries-old monarchy that has its own rules, traditions, and expectations. It's a world that is as alien as it is intimidating, and it's a world that does not take kindly to those who dare to be different. But Meghan, like Diana before her, was different. She was a woman who dared to speak her mind, to challenge the status quo, to envision a different kind of royal life. And for that, she was branded a threat. Yet, unlike Diana, Meghan had a choice. She could stay and endure the relentless scrutiny, the constant criticism, the endless invasion of privacy, or she could leave. She could choose freedom. Choosing freedom, however, is not as simple as it sounds. It meant giving up a life of privilege, of luxury, of royalty. But it also meant gaining something far more valuable: the ability to live life on her own terms, to raise her children away from the prying eyes of the media, to carve out a path that was uniquely hers. It took immense strength, immense courage, to make that choice, to turn her back on a life that many dream of, to step into the unknown, to face the inevitable backlash that would follow. But Meghan did it. She chose freedom over a life lived in shadows, just as Diana might have done, had she been given the chance. Meghan chose freedom in America with her husband and children instead of a life lived in shadows. Her story is a testament to the power of choice, the power of resilience, and the power of a woman determined to protect her family, no matter the cost. The parallels between Diana and Meghan are undeniable. Two women, both luminous in their own ways, both dedicated to the pursuit of good, and both branded as threats by the very institution they endeavoured to serve. Let's take a moment to look at these similarities. Both Diana and Meghan were women of substance, unafraid to stand up for what they believed in. They were passionate about their causes and used their influence to shine a spotlight on issues close to their hearts. They were champions for the underprivileged, the overlooked, the marginalised. Their strength was their beacon, their commitment to good, their compass. And yet this strength, this fierce independence, was seen as a threat by those who preferred the status quo. It was this threat that led to their vilification, their isolation, their struggle. But here's where their stories diverge. Diana, tragically, was consumed by the very system she sought to reform. Her light was extinguished far too soon, her voice silenced before its time. She became a symbol of the cost of challenging the established order, a haunting reminder of what happens when a woman dares to be different. Meghan, on the other hand, managed to break free. Undeterred by the relentless media scrutiny, the relentless pressure, she chose to step away. She chose freedom over confinement, love over duty, survival over surrender. She chose to write her own narrative, outside the shadow of the institution that sought to define her. Her story is one of resilience in the face of adversity, of standing tall despite the storm. It's a story that echoes Diana's spirit, her determination, her refusal to be silenced. But unlike Diana, Meghan's story does not end in tragedy. Instead, it's a story of survival, a testament to the power of resilience and the indomitable spirit of a woman who refused to be broken. While Diana's story ended in tragedy, Meghan's has become a story of survival. And in that survival, she carries forward Diana's legacy, a legacy of strength, of courage, of resilience. A legacy of women who refuse to be silenced, who refuse to be defined by anything other than their own strength and resolve. Today, Meghan carries Diana's flame. This isn't merely a statement of lineage or a testament to the bond shared between a prince and his wife. No, it is a profound recognition of the spirit and determination that Meghan Sussex embodies, a spirit that echoes the strength of the late Princess Diana. In the face of adversity, Meghan, like Diana, has shown an unwavering commitment to her values. She has refused to let her voice be silenced, refused to let her identity be defined by others. Instead, she has chosen to stand tall, to fight back, to remain true to herself. This is a fight that Diana knew all too well. But Meghan's fight is not just her own. She bears the torch for all women who have been misunderstood, maligned, and marginalised. She is a beacon of hope for those who, like her, have faced prejudice and bias simply for being who they are. In this sense, Meghan Sussex is more than just a former member of the royal family. She is a symbol of resilience, a testament to the power of self-belief, and a beacon of hope for those who dare to challenge the status quo. And yet, in carrying Diana's flame, Meghan does more than just continue Diana's legacy. She amplifies it. She takes the lessons learned from Diana's life and applies them to her own. She uses her platform to champion the causes close to her heart, to shed light on the issues often left in the dark. Where Diana left off, Meghan continues, her flame burning bright in the face of darkness. In the end, it is not just about carrying the flame. It is about what you do with that flame, how you let it light your path, and how you use it to illuminate the paths of others. Meghan carries Diana's flame, not just as Harry's wife, but as a woman who refused to be destroyed by the same system that once tried to silence Diana.